They're coming. They're coming your way. They'll be here soon.
Miramax Family Films presents Jason James Richter, the star of Free Willy, in the Neverending Story 3, Escape from Fantasia. Based on the best-selling book by Michael Ende. The adventure continues for everyone who loves the series.
The Neverending Story.
All your favorite characters are back in an all-new movie about a young man
Bastien.
whose destiny is controlled by a magical storybook.
How can something that's happening right now be in this book?
Every move you make is part of your story.
But Bastien's story has fallen into the wrong hands.
Maybe we could make a few things happen to him.
The Nasties must have the Neverending Story. They're the ones making all this stuff happen.
Help me! This evil force comes from the human world.
This is my story, and I'm not gonna let it happen.
Now, he'll risk everything
How's he going to get the book away from these thugs?
to save two worlds.
Hurry up, let's go.
You can own the never-ending adventure and the never-ending fun.
Your body's gone.
Well, your body went years ago.
Your whole family will enjoy. Take a journey beyond your imagination. The Neverending Story 3, Escape from Fantasia.
I want to read you a little bit of something from the Wikipedia on Neverending Story 3 if you haven't read it yet.
Okay.
Author of the original book, Michael Ende, had
Yeah.
absolutely no involvement with the film, with producer Tim Hampton commenting, "We own all rights to the title now." Ende had certain rights on the previous two movies. He had a lot of control on Wolfgang Petersen's The Neverending Story. On George Miller's The Next Chapter, it was more along the lines of, we had to show him what we were doing at all times, and then he'd give us his opinion. But here, we're clear and free to do what we want.
Hell yeah.
Final note, McDonald, director of this movie, was not allowed to cut the film himself with the editing decisions made solely by the producers.
Oh, man. That's good. That's good.
Welcome to Rough Cuts. We did Neverending Story 3.
The third one.
The third one. The end of the story. I'm your co-host, Ilian, and this is the other co-host, Boix.
Hello.
And we do Bad Dog Movie Podcast, where we watch a terrible movie and then immediately jump in with our thoughts on it. So we finished this like 5-10 minutes ago.
And it changed my life.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I've been changed forever.
Yeah.
Jack Black traveled into my mindscape, into my Fantasia, and turned me into a nasty.
We're all nasty if you think about it.
We're all nasty now.
I might have made an error in picking this one up. Neverending Story 3 was a direct-to-VHS movie.
We know it was direct to VHS because that's how we watched it. Congratulations on owning a VHS copy of
I
the
own this
Neverending
now.
Story 3.
For some reason, I own this now. Yeah, so the first two movies released in theaters. This one did not.
Mm-hmm.
The first two movies have box office numbers. This does
Yep.
not.
Correct.
I did a little bit of research on that. So the first two movies made $150 million.
Yes.
Like, between them. This movie had a $25 million budget, and the only number I can find is that it had a gross of $5 million, so which means it lost $20 million. Which is huge.
Oof.
I don't even think that covers the actors and the camera crew and everything else, so...
I mean, is it bad to lose 80% of your budget?
Yeah, probably.
That seems like it's not great. Yeah.
Yeah. So
making back 20% of your investment seems poor.
I want to say this also had like a 25% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it's pretty low, which is understandable after watching it.
I'm not sure how it got that high.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there.
Okay, I will say I can kind of understand how it got that high, because Jack Black is fucking fantastic in this.
I think that's the only redeeming part.
It is about the only redeeming part, yes. But Jack Black is...
26%. 26% on Rotten Tomatoes. Double checked. Oh, 1 second.
Oh god, the cops are coming for me because I mentioned that the nasties are good.
Yeah, that's the nasties. You gotta watch out.
Oh god, watch out for the nasties.
They're coming. Here, 1 second. Let me close my window. Fuck. God damn it.
There's a lot of cops.
Yeah, there are. What the fuck? No, it's fine. Fucking damn it. Everything's fine. This is fine. It's exactly what I wanted. This is a professional recording.
Open up in there! You watch Neverending Story 3? Quick, kick down the door!
I'm not. I'm
motherfuckers!
I'm playing Tekken. I swear.
Shoot anything that moves in there.
Jeez. This movie's pre-Jack Black being popular. So that's something. Yeah. That's something to point out.
He's not before that.
He's not even listed on the box anywhere.
No, yeah, he's a nobody actor at this point.
No.
Yes, yeah, this is like his third movie kind of thing.
They didn't know what they had.
Yeah. They did not know it. Well, I feel like they learned what they had because again, he is a shining ray of light in a dark, 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 dark movie. Which is actually kind of runs into my problem with this. So, you've seen the Neverending Story.
When I was a kid, yeah.
But, I was going to say, as a child, I loved the Neverending Story. I've probably seen it a dozen times, including fairly recently, like in the last 5-ish years or so.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that movie holds up in a lot of ways. It's really weird. There's definitely some problems with it. It's far from perfect, but how strange and, as I was saying, what tied me into this is the darkness of it. It is one of those kids' movies.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's one of those kids' movies that really does not pull its punches. Like, extremely does not pull its punches.
It's actually potentially a scary movie for children, yes.
Extremely.
Kind of like Return to Oz is like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there is a moment there was one moment that struck me when I watched it again in particular where the villain, which is like this wolf thing, starts talking to Atreyu, the kid in the fantasy world, because there are, in these movies, normally, there is a fantasy world in the book that has a main character, and then there is a real-world analog kid, and they kind of interact with each other. Not so much in this one.
And they got the whole metal band Atreyu in that one.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But he's talking to Atreyu, the kid in the fantasy thing, and like the main villain is doing it, and he's like, I'm helping the nothing eat away at the world. And the kid's like, why would you do that? And he goes, because this is the analog into the real human world of like kind of the psychic imagination of humanity. And he's like, well, then why would you destroy it? And he's like, because people without hope have fear, and people that have fear are easy to control. And like, it's like, Jesus Christ, like, it is fucking dark. And then the wolf, he's like, well, if we're both gonna die, then fucking get me. The kid says that. And then he stabs the wolf through the goddamn heart with blood drenching all over both of them as the wolf body twitches out on the ground. This is a fucking kids movie.
It rules, I know.
It's great. It's so good. This movie has a dinosaurs sitcom with the Rock guys, which I need to talk about too later, but we'll get to that. It does have a sitcom. Mad about everything. It has the weird... Okay, the analog in this one, how I said that there's a main character analog in the fantasy world and then, like, the main character analog in the real world. The analog I just realized in this movie is that there are two different sitcoms. There's a fantasy world sitcom and a real world sitcom. And they're both clashing. And it's...
It's like an after-school special meets another after-school special.
Yes.
meets the dinosaurs from Jim Henson.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. It's like if you
so
made
good.
It's like if you made Neverending Story a Pee-wee's Playhouse episode, which is what it is. You think about it. I have the back of the box.
Jack Black. Yeah.
So take your imagination on this thrill ride of a movie. Here's the latest chapter in the popular film trilogy, starring Free Willy's Jason James Richter as Bastian, a teenager whose life is turned upside down when his father remarries. But when the Nasties take control of the book, his Fantasian friends get stuck on Earth, and it's up to Bastian to save them. And in order to do that, he must defeat the Nasties. With great music by some of your favorite rockers. This awesome fantasy adventure celebrates the joy of reading and the magic books create within our own imagination. I think all of that is a lie.
People that are listening to the podcast will already know that this is happening, but I'm just going to explain what I'm going to do for editing this week to you, boys, so that you know when you start talking about the favorite rockers in this, I am going to slowly fade in Kiss from a Rose.
Kiss from a Rose on the grave.
You know, what every child wants in their movie.
Did you just say grave? Did you just say grave? It's Kiss from a Rose on the Grey. That's like a Bernstein Bears thing.
I don't fucking remember. I don't know this fucking song. I hate that song so goddamn much. Anyway.
There was Batman crying in the background, and you didn't even pay attention. How dare you?
This whole thing, I'm really torn about this experience because I loved watching this movie with you because it's so fucking bad in like some very specific, very, very, very dumb ways. And Jack Black is just like, he's not chewing scenery, he's like axe murdering it. He's running around with a chainsaw through this fucking film. And it's great in that way. And also, I love Neverending Story, and what it does to Neverending Story is a fucking crime. It's so bad. It's so bad what it does to everything that was good about Neverending Story.
But that's the best part. That's the best part. It takes Neverending Story, and it shapes it into its own shit pile.
Yeah.
Right? That's the best part. That's how you make an interesting movie.
Yeah, it chews it up, digests it, and then shits it out, and that's Neverending Story 3.
You think the movie is about Bastian's father remarrying. You think it's about the Nasties stealing the book. You think it's about the Fantasia creatures going to Earth, but it's really about the gnomes needing to take a shit.
That is most of the story, yeah.
That is the plot.
If there's a hero's journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a hero's journey, so hero's journey, hold up. Wait a minute, I need to pull this up. I want to make sure I get all of the spots of it, because I think that this actually fits the whole thing. So it has the call to adventure is the first thing. Bastian shows up in the Neverending Story running away from the bullies, and he immediately crushes their home and therefore their toilet. So that's the call to adventure. Immediately they have that. So then there is...
Yeah, go on.
There's the Threshold Guardians. There's the Threshold Guardians and like a helper and stuff. So they meet the bark troll and stuff, and he goes, hey, you can just shit in the woods. So there's a challenge and temptation, which is the next step of the hero's journey. And they go, no, we can't just shit in the woods. So then they have a revelation, and they realize that if they're on Earth, there's toilets everywhere. And they go to Earth. That's the revelation. And then the transformation is them realizing that they can't use the toilets on Earth because they're tiny little gnomes. And then they atone for their sins, which is the next part of the hero's journey. and then go back to Bastion and say, "Please, sir, we really need to take a giant dumpy." And then
they do.
Let us out!
There's no time. We gotta go.
No! We got to go!
He does the return and the gift of the goddess. He returns them to Fantasia, and they have his and her toilets, and they shit, and they're back home. That's They go from the known to the unknown and back. It's the whole hero's journey.
There's a big thing at the beginning of the movie where Bastion's looking for the bathroom also, which is weird. What the fuck?
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, he doesn't have a hero's journey, though. He doesn't poop at the end, so...
No, so yeah, it can't be a hero's journey.
Yeah.
I hate that their story actually fits into the hero's journey. That's legitimately the arc for the gnomes in this.
It does.
Fucking Christ.
I mean, so we could talk about the movie beginning to end, but it's really basic. There's not much plot that really happens. It's just stuff happens on screen. Like, it cuts from sitcom to sitcom, like, joke thing happening. That's not funny. There's no joke, by the way. It's just...
No. This is a movie of small vignettes, and another thing, just as your sitcom point, and how much it's, like, sitcom piece to sitcom piece, they also even try to start putting in, like, catchphrases for characters, as if it's, again, a sitcom in the 90s. Like, Falkor is constantly going like, "Oh, that can't be good."
Or, "I wouldn't have wished for that," or, "Wow, that's lucky," because of the luck dragon. Yeah. And the baby constantly goes, "Kiss me, I'm the baby."
Yeah, the baby.
Gotta love me.
I'm the baby, gotta kiss me. God, it's so dinosaurs. It's so bad.
It is.
Oh,
it is.
Christ.
And the mom and dad rock people are constantly like the dinosaurs, mom and dad too.
They gave the Rock Man a tank top.
Yeah,
they
has
gave
a
him
tank
a
top.
tank top.
A rock top.
The rock woman has curlers in her hair as a joke at the beginning because she's the mom, you see.
Yeah, and the tree man, Bark Troll or whatever his name is, Barky.
Bark Troll. Yeah,
Barky.
it was Bark Troll.
He's just Dom DeLuise at home. We have a Dom DeLuise at home. We don't need to pay that man.
Yeah, John DeLuise here.
Yeah.
Who also is the same voice actor as Falkor in this movie because they needed to save on budget, apparently.
God. But they spent $25 million.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, okay, I will say they have good creature work.
The Jim Henson puppet work is great. I agree.
Like all the puppet work and the special effects kind of like set work is really, really good. That part holds up. It's just in service of nothing.
Did you ever watch the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3? Where they go back in time?
No.
Okay, did you watch the first movie? The first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the super dark one?
I never really watched them, no.
Wow. Okay, so the first movie has really good costuming, right?
Sure.
And everything actually looks really dark and gritty, and it's not trying to be a kids movie necessarily, it's just trying to be a comic movie, so they're trying to make it look really interesting and cool. And by the third movie, the costumes are like, you can see the seams underneath the head.
Yeah.
And like the zippers. And the mouths no longer move, they just kind of like bounce back and forth, instead of in like the first movie where the mouth actually goes up and down.
Yeah, sure.
They did some costume changes in this film for the Fantasias.
Oh.
And it reminds me a lot of Ninja Turtles 3. Where they just downgraded everything.
Yeah. So, can I talk about the Rockman now?
Sure.
Am I allowed to? Okay, I want to get into this because everybody knows Neverending Story kind of has the really famous, like, sad scene of the horse dying in the swamp, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's, like, that really, really famous thing where it's a movie that destroys your childhood because it is a tearjerker at a few points. And everybody always talks about that scene. For me, the scene that wrecked me emotionally as a kid, and as an adult too, is the scene in the arc with the Rock Man. So that they changed him into a tank top sitcom dad just killed me. Also, so let's just start out with the basic look of the Rock Man. In here, he's just a regular sized man, but made out of rock.
He's a Fred
top.
Flintstone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But in the original movie, like, the kid goes up to talk to him, and he doesn't come up to his toe. Like, he's a mountain. He's a
mountain.
Man.
Yes.
Yes. Like, he is a big goddamn rock man. He's big and weird, and it's cool that he's so different. In the first movie, there's a thing called the Nothing that is just, like, destroying the world. It's basically this force of nature that is, like, swallowing things into the void. And the Rock Man has a bunch of adventurers with him that the main characters meet. Like, they're basically a D&D group almost going around doing
Sure.
They're like an adventure group that is trying to help solve the problem. And he runs into the Rock Man near the end of the movie when everything's really fucking grim as shit. And the Rock Man is looking down at his hands, and he turns to Atreyu and he goes, "These look like big, strong hands, don't they?"
They look like big, good, strong hands, don't they? I always thought that's what they were. Oh, my little friends. The little man with his racing snail, the night hawk, even the stupid bat. I couldn't hold on to them. The Nothing pulled them right out of my hands. I failed. Listen, the Nothing will be here any minute. I will just sit here and let it take me away too. They look like good, strong hands. Don't
It's depressing. Yeah.
The first movie's dark as shit. It goes places. It's great.
Whereas in this one, he gets hit over the head with a ladle.
He gets hit over the head with a ladle.
And he rides a motorcycle and sings "Born to Be Wild."
In his wife beater as he rides his rock motorcycle with his rock child, who he then loses because he's a deadbeat sitcom dad.
Go away! Can the man chew his rocks in peace?
Well, you shouldn't be so nasty.
Nasty? Who's being nasty?
Junior always gets into trouble when he's with you.
What? Would you rather he lay around the cave all day, helping you with those mud cakes?
What the fuck did they do to this movie? What did they do?
They did something magical. That's what they did. They wished the first movie was better, and they came out with this. That's what happened.
Like,
yeah, they found
they
the
almost
Oran.
did make it better. They almost did make it better because it's so bad. It's so bad and it's so dumb that it's kind of amazing. He's singing "Born to Be Wild" with his rock child in this fantasy world. They're talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're making like all these real world pop culture quip references the whole movie. But they're all like weird gnome people and shit. It's just nonsense. It
makes
bad.
no sense. It makes no sense.
Oh.
The tree is constantly talking about like flying on an airplane while in Fantasia and stuff like that too. Like, it makes no sense. It's just garbage. But my favorite part about the Born to Be Wild scene is that it's not just him singing. It's a music video.
Yes. Yes.
And they were so confident in that music video.
Yeah.
that they ended the film on it again.
They put it as an end credits scene. They put it over the end credits.
They were so confident.
Dude, they're so confident the actual end of the film is a slow motion still high five. In midair.
Yeah,
a
freeze-frame high five
still.
Like it was a fucking sports movie. Yeah.
It's every... This is every trope. It's every single trope that you can imagine. They just threw all of them together. They just slammed it. Just stuff a couple more in.
I mean, here's the thing. If you're going to make a movie and you're going to shit on the source material, you got to go all in.
They did. They
went
did.
All in.
Yeah. More in than I thought you ever could get.
And it's even better because, so Jack Black is the leader of the Nasties.
Yes.
Obviously. And the Nasties taking over Fantasia, which is people being mean to each other, I guess.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Well, it's not as deep as the Nothing. It's just nasty.
They just dress up in motorcycle leathers, and they have a mohawk and a tattoo.
They listen to punk music. Yeah.
Dang.
Lame.
They gotta be real.
They also got held back. They're in their senior year in high school.
I was wondering when we were gonna say that.
So the entire
How many years are they held back?
The entire group of Nasties is mid-20s.
Yes.
They're supposedly high school seniors.
I love that they cast Jack Black in this and they realized how bad it was because he was 26 in the filming of this. So they were like, let's just throw in a line that he was held back for a lot. That's all that they do. They just...
How long do you plan on being held back? We're gonna hit the record.
Yeah, there are times in movies like this where you're like, okay, they look a little old, but also it's they're kind of that timeless young person look where it's kind of hard to tell. You're like, okay, they could be a really mature looking 17-year-old, I guess. Jack Black is very obviously a grown-ass man. It's not even he doesn't have the looks to pull that off. He doesn't have the youthfulness going for him at all.
It's 20-somethings bullying a 14-year-old.
It's incredible.
It's exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing, too, is that the main character doesn't look like he's in high school. He looks like he's in junior high at best. And so it's okay, they brought this kid up 5 years, and these kids have been in high school for an extra 10.
But they also made him, the most bullyable person ever. And it's somehow the bully's fault? No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have a note for that.
You got a name?
Bastion Baltazar Bucks.
Baltazar? What kind of name
Why
is
did he
that?
tell
Why
him
the
his
fuck
middle
would you
name?
tell him the middle
Yeah,
name?
What the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
What a dweeb.
Of course they're gonna give him a swirly. I want to give him a swirly.
The first thing he says when he meets his stepsister is, by the way, Fantasia's real, and there's dragons and rock people.
And they're all my friends, and there's a
They're all my
child
friends.
empress, and I go to an ivory tower there, and here's my really cool orb thing that I have from it.
And my Orin thing grants wishes. Oh, cool. I'm gonna swirly you too now. Great.
She pulls out her headphones with Seal's Kiss from a Rose.
Kiss from a Rose playing.
And then just slowly puts them back in and turns away from him.
As the music
fades back out.
Fades out and then fades in and then That scene where she takes off her headphones felt like a joke, like a shitpost. They were laughing at the audience.
Jesus Christ.
It's the dumbest thing. It's so good. It's so good. But the Nasties, I guess, get the book or whatever. That's the joke, is the Nasties are taking over the world and they're going to ruin your dad's marriage to your stepmom, I guess.
Well, they don't even mean to do that. There's so much that nobody means to do or things that just happen in this film.
Why did they put a Spaceballs scene in the movie where Jack Black of the Nasties is reading the book as things are currently happening in the book, and then they do where they look back and forth, like, where's this? Now? Yeah, right now.
Now. Yeah, but when was then now? No, then is now, then will be then later, but not now. Yeah.
That just happened.
That whole thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They do the Spaceballs joke. Why? The tone of this movie is all over the place.
Well, I mean, I think the tone of this movie, they're trying to go for comedy the whole time. They're just bad at it. It feels like they're trying to do an Airplane-style send-up of the first two movies. The more that I think about it. Of the first two? Yeah.
Like, is it supposed to make fun of them? Like...
Right? Yeah, it's like a scary movie version of the Neverending Story.
I know some critics were calling this just Bastian Goes to High School. That's the story. And I don't think that's it either.
No, not at all.
Because it's so little of this is about his high school experience. I have a question for you. In order to destroy Fantasia, all you have to do is knock down books at a library, right? Because that ruins the books so nobody can read them anymore, because kids don't read books anymore. And the nasty is what happens when kids stop reading, right?
Yeah, apparently.
The Nasties took like 2 minutes to get all in on the idea of Fantasia in the book.
Yeah.
There was no thought. They were just reading themselves, talking about themselves at that exact moment. Like, wow, Fantasia's real. And now we're going to talk to the Enchantress or whatever, the Queen. I don't remember the characters.
Child Empress.
The Child Empress, great. And we're going to control Fantasia when we get the Orin. And this is like 2 minutes after finding the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They read it, they realize that it's about them, and they go, alright, well, this is happening now, so I guess that we just believe it. Fuck it.
I guess.
Since we were talking about the comic side of this movie, I just realized we were saying that the Bark Troll is always making, like, bad jokes and shit, or trying to, like,
he's just rambling is what he's doing, yeah.
Yeah. There was one moment, there was a singular joke that I thought was actually very funny, considering just who they had the Bark Troll kind of acting like. And he's talking to Bastian. I don't remember the context, but I just wrote it down as he's like, come on, man, can we please do this? I really need a win. And it just fucking killed me. Come on, kid, I need a win. It's like, that's the whole energy of this movie.
Yeah. So the Fantasia creatures get pulled into the real world because of a wish overload, which is where they zoom the camera in and out very quickly. It's worse than the Porygon episode of Pokemon. Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not a good idea.
But like, so the Fantasia creatures go to Earth, I guess. They get sucked out of the book, and they also know they're in a book, and that it's a story, and it's not real.
Yeah.
They're self-aware of that, which I don't think was a thing.
No. I mean, like, yes, for certain characters at a certain point, but, like, that was the main villain. That was his whole thing, is that he did know that.
But then, like, this is a moment where the filmmakers are, like, trying to say something in some cases. Like, the Luck Dragon's flying around and sees an airline, like, a plane. Like, okay. But the Luck Dragon's talking to it like it's a person. Like, oh, hey, plane, sorry, I didn't know you were here. Oh, I'm a Luck Dragon. It's like, okay. But that one doesn't have anything to say. But then when Bark Troll shows up at the lumber mill...
Yes. Oh, God. It just...
It just turns into Fern Gully for a couple minutes, for some reason.
For like 5 minutes, it just becomes this environmental movie.
Yeah, and what the hell was that about? And then it's done with it. Because it ends it on a joke later, I guess.
Yes.
Why did the Rock Baby show up at Mount Rushmore, of all places?
Because he wanted to eat that president. Baby,
he wanted to eat Mount
that
Rushmore.
President.
And you know what? If that baby ate Mount Rushmore and cleared that mountain, that would have been really good. That baby should have done that. That was a good idea.
At least eat the president's faces off of it. Return it back to its glory as a sacred site.
right?
Oh god.
But like the luck dragon just flies around and catches the baby off of Mount Rushmore, and like this all sounds like a shitpost.
It's yeah. None of this movie makes any sense, and it just jumps from scene to scene, and it constantly just picks up a new theme, looks at it like it's a shiny rock, and is like, "Wow, that's cool," and then throws it over its shoulder and forgets about it forever, like the environmentalism thing.
But like, I don't know. Like Bastion's looking for them, kind of, in like the laziest way possible by sitting in his room with his telescope looking outside of his window. He's not really
maybe
trying.
I'll just see one of them from my telescope.
He has the Orin. He can just wish them to be there, right? Like, how does the wishing work?
Yep.
Oh.
But
oh.
Well, but he gets warned not to wish for things like that.
Oh. Okay. Well, good thing he never uses the Orin for evil later.
Yeah, good thing that nobody ever uses it for wishes at all later, and that's not a problem.
Yeah, nothing happens. But, so, as he's looking through his telescope, he sees the luck dragon near some fireworks, and then he teleports to a Chinese New Year celebration, because this movie takes place at the end of the year, after Christmas, during Chinese New Year, so like January.
Yeah, like January, February, somewhere in there. Yep.
Yeah, and the luck dragon's at a Chinese New Year like parade, which is very racist.
Most movies that have a dragon that looks vaguely like a Zodiac style Chinese dragon would try and de-emphasize how racist that might be. And then there's movies like Neverending Story 3 that exacerbate and draw attention to it as much as possible.
The Nasties are also at the Chinese New Year celebration.
Yeah, he's looking at it through his telescope, sees the dragon in the fireworks, walks out the front door, and is inside of this major city's Chinese festival immediately. Mm-hmm. And then the Nasties are beside him 30 seconds later.
Yeah. Yep. Because they're trying to steal the Orin from him. But they don't because they're scared of the luck dragon, who then flies them back home, which is right outside of his front door.
Yes.
But the other... So the gnomes go to Nome, Alaska so that FedEx can get into the movie.
Yeah, specifically so they can have a FedEx product placement.
Yep. And then they get product placement mailed back. While Bark Troll gets mailed back from the lumber mill.
Yes. They each do a mail back scene, and they do them back to back, where the gnomes mail themselves in FedEx, and then it shows the Bark Troll getting loaded onto a truck, and then it cuts to the house, and the kid's signing for a package, and it's the troll being delivered as a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then the troll hits the man because they bring back environmentalism for 10 seconds, and then it immediately cuts to the mom at the front door answering for a different package from FedEx. Well, there's 10 minutes in a row of just mail scenes.
And then she signs for the package in real time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then she takes the package inside, and then she shakes the package, which causes the gnomes who need to poop to tell her that they're in there. But then Bastion shows up and takes the package, and then the package, which has the gnomes in it, is still making noise. So then he has to come up with an excuse for why they got the package from FedEx. It was mailed from FedEx, you see, from Nome, Alaska, where they have a FedEx station. In a FedEx box.
FedEx... Wow, FedEx got that there really fast from Nome, Alaska.
Overnight. They did it overnight.
Yeah.
Huh. It was great.
Wow. Yeah, they were talking about how they would be able to get overnight all the way back home. That's pretty good for services. Do you think that cost a lot from FedEx?
No, it was probably expensive with FedEx, but like it was overnight. I mean, probably. But they did get it there in one night, and that's pretty good service if you think about it. Anyways, as he's talking to his stepmom about what's in the package that he ordered from FedEx that he signed for at the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from FedEx?
From FedEx?
That delivery guy was really friendly, too. Let me tell ya. Oof.
He has to come up with an excuse. So his excuse is, the noise is just from the parrot that I ordered.
And it's definitely not dead in this box from being shaken and mailed from Alaska.
And the box is like 12 by 4 or something by 8.
Uh-huh.
It's really small.
It's almost an envelope.
And then he just awkwardly backs into his room, and then they never talk about it again.
There's a lot of never talking about it again in this movie.
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, I just broader brush. What was the point of any of the Fantasians coming to Earth and wreaking havoc?
Because the Nasty?
For the overall plot.
The Nasty was there, so...
Oh, yeah, the Nasty's taking over Fantasia. Have we been to Fantasia in the last hour?
Have we? Well, they keep cutting to the Empress getting nastier.
I guess.
And then, like, she calls a guy a butthead. And then she also wants to go shopping. So that's pretty nasty, right? Oh yeah, the stepsister turns into like a mall queen because of the Orin amulet. When she realizes that she can just wish whatever she wants, so she turns into Molly Moon.
Yeah, she steals... Well, no, he turns into Molly Moon.
Oh, that's true. They're both evil in their own ways. She steals from the store.
That's true. She does steal from the store. He also completely overwrites people's personalities and changes their core being.
He doesn't erase someone. He erases 5 people's personalities and then rewrites them in his own image. That's true.
Yes.
That's pretty bad.
As our hero would do. Yeah. You know, heroic shit.
Yeah, the Nasties do live in the hubcap dimension at the mall. So, like...
They live inside Tank Girl is what they do.
They do. So, like, I mean, you need to rewrite that. You can't just have 25-year-old college expelled kids living in the hubcap dimension at your local mall. Right?
They have a dark hole that's covered over by a recycling bin that's full of, like, road signs and shit. It's... Oh, God, it's so good.
It's good. So anyway, the book gets stolen by the Nasties in their hubcap dimension. Bastion loses the amulet to his stepsister, who goes on a shopping spree. And then the Nasties get the amulet, I think. And then they make the world nasty. And this all happens directly after the Chinese New Year celebration. That's right, on Halloween.
On Halloween, yeah.
Yeah. In October.
I want to take a small bit of offense to you saying that he lost the amulet to his stepsister. Because he didn't lose the amulet. The plot demands that he forget about it and just decide to leave it in his room.
True.
For what reason? He's just like, yeah, you know... I'm on my magic quest with my magic amulet. I'm going to take it off and leave it here now. Sounds good. Taps the desk, walks away, and then she walks in and grabs it. Like, he basically says that. He's like, oh, I'm on my magic quest. Here I have my cool Orin. But I gotta make sure it doesn't fall into any bad hands. Let me just take it off and leave it out in the open in my room. I'm going to walk away for the next 10 hours. Hope nobody takes it. And then he just leaves. That's kind of the way that it gets stolen. And it's like, why is he doing this? There's a lot of character motivations.
It's so dumb.
I wanted to bring that up because that's kind of how every plot point happens in this movie. Where somebody just goes like, you know it'd be really interesting now if we became nasty. Because there's the nasties that are taking over Fantasia. So we should be nasty. Why don't we be nasty to each other? Yeah, you know... I think we're going to be nasties now, like the parents. Do you want to talk about the parents finding them all?
Yeah, I guess. Because, like, so now it's Halloween. The parents are there. And then they have a big fight because the stepsister used wishes to steal from the store, and Bastion, skipped school for 3 classes at the beginning of a day and stole a book from the library. Horrible monsters. So then they fight and they break up, and we learn that it's been 1 week since their marriage between Chinese New Year and Halloween. It's been 1 week.
Their marriage that happened before the start of this movie.
Yeah.
And then now, this whole adventure has happened in the week after their marriage.
And this is all going to the soundtrack of an original song about living in a nasty world.
Was that an original?
That's original on the soundtrack.
Okay.
I looked that up. Yeah.
I want to just also mention that this Nasty World song is where the rock baby goes to essentially sit on Halloween Santa's lap in the mall. That's apparently Santa. A thing. That's that is what it is. There's like a Dracula that's letting little kids sit on his lap at the mall for Halloween, like you do.
I think if a Dracula sits down with a photo booth and asks kids to take a photo, that's a call the cops situation. That is not. That's not a thing that happens.
And it's all to this Nasty World song that is.
It's so good.
I love this movie and I hate this movie so much at the same time. It's really breaking me. This movie is just, it's incredible. They're in the department store. The parents are fighting. The Nasties have the amulet. The amulet grants wishes, but it's not allowed to be used to grant wishes or bad things happen, except the girl does a whole bunch of wishes and nothing bad happens. And then the Nasties get it, but they decide not to do any wishes, but them just having it alters the very fabric of reality, which makes everybody nasty.
This is the part of the movie where they blame everything that ever happens where people disagree and argue and fight on the Nasties. And nobody takes accountability for their own problems at all. Like,
anytime that I've been a dick, it's because Jack Black's controlling me through a magic book. I'm sorry, I don't know why you have any issues.
Like the dad and mom, the stepmom, are like arguing, and that's the Nasty's fault. It's not because they have real marital problems and issues they need to work through with their kids. And the kids are fighting, and it's not because the stepsister called him bullyable and uncool and told him the truth, which hurt.
all of the actual reality of his life, yeah.
Yeah,
she
and
was
he
just
hated
being
that.
honest.
And that's the Nasty talking, not them, I don't know, being human beings. I don't know what the fuck this was talking about.
Yeah, no. I want to mention, so that part, the sister and him, they at least do fight at the beginning and have those interpersonal problems. The parents, it really is just the Nasties, to be fair, because they have a perfect, loving, nice marriage where they're both getting along and doing a really good job of raising the kids and talking to each other at the beginning.
For that
of the
whole
film.
week they've been together, yeah.
Yes. And then they just start fighting out of nowhere in the mall because the Nasties take over. And then it immediately resolves at the minute the Nasties are gone, because that's...
This is just like that story about Angela Anaconda ruining someone's marriage at the Digimon movie.
God.
Where...
As a Canadian, I firmly apologize for Amanda Anaconda.
Angela
You told me this, or Angela Anaconda. God, I never saw this. You explained this to me, so please explain it again.
There's an urban legend, which might or might not be true.
It's definitely true. I believe it. I'm Canadian. I can back this up. It happened. All right, it's real. Now that we know that it's real, continue.
These parents that had maybe a tenuous relationship take their kid to go see the Digimon movie. And that movie just blindsidedly opens with an Angela Anaconda skit out of fucking nowhere. It has nothing to do with Digimon, except like it's about her going to a Digimon movie. But why is it here? So the kid starts crying because I don't want to see Angela Anaconda, that horrible Canadian monster. I want to see
Nobody
Digimon.
wants to see it. Yeah.
Which causes the two parents to fight, and they break up at the Digimon movie because of Angela Anaconda.
Loudly over their child.
Yeah. That's the story. It's exactly like that. The Nasty's got him. And the Nasty being Angela Anaconda.
That's a lot scarier than Jack Black, to be fair.
Oh. But, okay, so the Nasties get the Orin, right?
Yes.
And then it gets passed around a lot between the various Fantasias and Nasties until Bastion gets it again.
They basically, do a hot potato. With it, yeah.
And then Jack Black starts taunting him. He's like, oh, you got the Orin, huh? What are you going to do? You going to wish? What? You a big man now? Only a big man when you got the Orin? Can't fight me like a normal person, huh? Put the Orin down.
Put the gun down.
Bastion.
Put the gun down, huh? What are you going to do? You going to wish a bullet into Jack Black's head?
Yeah, put the gun down, Bastion. Come on. Fight me like a real, I don't know, bullyable child. I'm 25.
I was going to say, this 25-year-old man goading this 14-year-old into a fist fight.
Yeah, so of course, Bastion puts the Orin down, the gun down, which is literally what the scene is. It's just he's using the Orin as a gun to threaten him.
Yep.
And then they have a fist fight.
Okay, sorry, I was joking about this grown 25-year-old man bullying a 14-year-old. I actually nailed the other kid's age, too. He is 14. He is 14 in this.
I thought it was about there, yeah.
Holy fuck, dude. He's 13. Oh my god. All right, sorry, go ahead. I'm just...
So the stepsister starts reading from the book as they're about to have their fist fight, and then she's like, Bastion, who is a master of karate. I only took 2 lessons.
He's a full combination of Bruce Lee and Sylvester Stallone and Steven Seagal.
It's even worse. Yeah, it's just Seagal and Van Damme. That's it. There's nothing else. And if it's just Seagal, Jack Black's fine. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
What's he gonna do? Vaguely wave his hands at him?
So then he starts beating him up with really shitty Seagal moves. Until the Luck Dragon shows up, which scares them away. The Nasties. Yep. And then, of course, the movie ends with him wishing the Nasties were completely rewritten as different people. And high five, freeze frame, and Luck Dragon saying, well, that was lucky. That's all, folks. As the Rock Baby comes in saying, gotta love me. I'm the baby.
I honestly don't remember how many of the things that you've just stated are actually true. Some of them are, and some of them aren't.
Well,
and it was such a fucking mess that I don't remember.
The gnomes took a shit. The tree got hair
that
back.
That part happens.
Because the tree
was bald. Yes, that also happens. Those are true things. I'm remembering those.
I could just say anything and you'd believe it at this point.
Yes. Let's rate the dogs.
The Luck Dragon's a dog. They even call him a dog.
They make him more dog-like in this. Way more dog-like. It's weird. He looks better in a way, but also him being off-putting was what made you believe that he was a dragon and not a big flying dog.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about the Luck Dragon. He doesn't really do anything in the whole movie.
No. He's comic relief. Just like the Rock Baby and the Bark Monster.
And the Gnomes.
And the Gnomes. And Jack Black's minions. And the stepsister for most of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the butthead guy with the Child Empress. And... oh my god. it's like all comic relief. This movie is, imagine a movie where there's 12 Jar Jar Binkses.
And there's also rap music in the background.
And there's rap music in the background of the whole thing.
But it's like early 90s rap.
early 90s rap made specifically for the movie that wrote in 12 Jar Jar Binkses.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm going to rate this I'm going to rate the Luck Dragon as a 12 Jar Jar Binkses out of 90s hip hop.
That's a weird ratio, but I agree. I think I would probably rate it as a Luck Dragon Lady, the Aquabats song, out of 10. But, like, if you pitch it downward incorrectly and then slow it so it's unlistenable, yeah. The other dog is, of course, Jack Black. Slip. Jack Black is a good boy who just wants his pack to have fun. And he even built them a hubcap dimension to hang out in at the mall.
Right?
And he never wishes for anything. He's not an evil, horrible monster that wishes. He just bullies the most bullyable child known to man.
And he only does that because the book demands it.
The book says it. Yeah.
He's stuck to the whims of fate. Bastian Balthazar Bucks is the real villain who then... that Jack Black, through absolutely no fault of his own, who is controlled entirely through the realm of Fantasia, a realm that is at the whims of this other small child, and then has his entire personality erased again by this same small child through this fantasy realm.
And he never does a single thing that's racist in this movie. Unlike the Luck Dragon. So I would give Jack Black like a 13 out of 10. That's a really good dog.
I'm going to have to just give him a 1 out of 10. And that's only because of the one brow that he has.
The unibrow?
They gave him a really good unibrow.
Yeah, really, really weird unibrow. Yeah.
There were a couple other dogs in this movie. There was a couple of incidental dogs, which was really nice.
There was a husky at the FedEx station. Yep. That was a good dog. There was a dog that was trying to kill that tree. The barky
There sure
tree.
was. I know. There was a hero dog that tried to kill Barky the troll.
That's a good dog.
Sadly.
There's a character named Dog, according to IMDb. I'm thinking that's one of the nasties. I don't know who, though. It must be one
of the nasties. I'm thinking, my guess is that it's the comic relief nasty.
The goofball one with the hair. Oh, we didn't talk about the hair. Bastian has, like, frosted tips without the frosting.
Yes.
Throughout most of this movie.
Well, and it's a plot point that he does it because he's got perfectly normal, decently looking hair that he's brushing.
Yeah.
When the sister comes in and fucking rags on him for having normal hair. And so he goes, okay, fine, well, I'll just fuck it all up then. And
I'll just be even more bullyable.
He literally does it as like a, fuck you. If you think that I'm uncool now, wait till you see what I do next. And so he purposefully uncools himself.
Yeah, he's on everything if you think about it. Yeah.
Why? Why did he uncool himself on purpose?
So that Jack Black could shine more. It makes sense if you think about it. Well, anyway. That's it. That's it for this episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Rough Cuts. Kiss from a rose on the grave. You can check out our Patreon if you want to support this wonderful podcast. You can also check us out on Co-Host, as well as TikTok. And we appreciate the support. You can email us at roughcutscast@gmail.com if you have any feedback. If you're a director of this particular film. The one thing I know for sure about this is if you ever get a chance to have Jack Black sign something, bring him a copy of Neverending Story 3.
He'll love you for it.
He will fucking go wild for that.
I'm sure he will actually love it, is the thing. I have to believe that Jack Black would enjoy that.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's it. I think there's only one way we could possibly end this. And I think this is the second time we've done this, because we did it to Lowrider previously.
Lowrider.
Born to be wild.
Digital high five!
You must only use it to stop the nasty, then you must return it to me.